Like it like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey yo, listen.
What you want?
Drop it low to the flow. Oh,
Like it like that.
Yeah.
oh. Are you ready for this?
So everyone's talking about DeepSeek, right? This Chinese AI company. It's like they're changing everything we thought we knew about AI.
And even for someone like me who's been in this field a while, gotta admit, it's pretty impressive.
Totally. So we're going to do a deep dive today, try to figure out exactly what they're doing and why it's such a big deal. We've got some really interesting news articles and analyses to look at. But before we get into all that, I think it's good to get on the same page, right?
Yeah, definitely.
When we say AI, what exactly are we talking about?
I think that's smart because we use the term so much these days. So at its most basic, AI is about making computers think and act like humans, allowing them to solve problems, make decisions.
Okay, so kind of like teaching computers to think for themselves.
Exactly. And then you have generative AI, which is even more interesting.
Ah, yes, generative AI. That's where things get really wild.
Like, think about ChatGPT. That's a good example.
Right, everyone's using that these days.
It can actually create new content, like writing text, even composing music based on what it's learned.
So it's not just following instructions, it's actually creating.
Right, exactly. And DeepSeek is also a generative AI chatbot, and the things it can do. Wow.
Yeah, it's definitely caught the world's attention.
What's fascinating about DeepSeek, though, is it's challenging that whole Silicon Valley idea.
Oh, you mean that you need tons of money to make a big impact in AI?
Exactly. DeepSeek's model, apparently it's built for way less money than its competitors.
Right.
And they're still getting amazing results.
So less money, but still big results.
Mhm.
How are they doing that? What's the secret?
Well, they're being clever about it. They're using a mix of like high-end and cheaper computer chips, kind of a hybrid approach. And it's really going against that idea that you need the most powerful hardware to make progress in AI.
So they're basically finding a way to do more with less.
Exactly.
And that's got to be shaking things up in the industry, right?
Mhm.
I mean, the big players can't be happy about this.
Oh, absolutely. NVIDIA, they make those high-end AI chips, right?
Right. The ones everyone thought were essential.
Their stock took a nosedive, like 17% down.
What?
Almost $600 billion in market value lost, just like that. Biggest single-day drop in U.S. stock market history.
Wow, that's a huge number. So DeepSeek is really making waves. What about Silicon Valley, though? What's the reaction there? Are they panicking?
I wouldn't say panicking, but they're definitely paying attention now. DeepSeek, it's like they exposed a blind spot. For years, it's all been about bigger and more powerful AI models.
Right. Bigger is better. That was the thinking.
Exactly. Now everyone's trying to figure out how to compete when it's not just about budget, it's about being innovative.
So it's a wake-up call for the giants, for sure.
Yeah.
But what about the rest of us? You know, people who aren't tech CEOs or stock market experts.
That's the big question, and I think that's what makes DeepSeek so interesting. Some experts are actually saying this could be good for consumers.
Oh, really? How so?
Well, more competition in the AI market, that could mean lower prices for AI-powered services, right? Make them available to more people, not just the ones with tons of money.
That makes sense. More accessible AI, that's pretty exciting. Imagine all the things people could do.
Exactly. We could see a lot of innovation in areas like education, healthcare, even the arts. AI could become more affordable, more user-friendly. Who knows what's possible?
That's a really appealing thought. AI tools that everyone can use,
Yeah.
not just big companies.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, there are always concerns, right?
Like what?
Like data privacy, security, those are big ones, especially with the Chinese government involved.
Right. Those are definitely things to think about. Speaking of the Chinese government, how are they reacting to all this? And who's the person behind DeepSeek? Who's the mastermind?
So China has been pretty clear about wanting to be a leader in AI, a global leader. They've been investing a lot in research and development and DeepSeek's success. Well, it kind of proves their strategy is working. As for the person behind it all, his name is Liang Wenfeng.
Okay. Lan Wenfeng. Is he like a typical Silicon Valley tech guy?
Not really, actually. His background is in finance, quantitative trading, a little unusual for an AI entrepreneur, you know.
Yeah, that's not the typical path.
But he seems to know what he wants to do with DeepSeek and with China's place in the future of AI. There was an interview with him. He said something like, China's AI sector can't just follow forever. We need to move beyond imitation and become real innovators.
So he wants to change the game, not just play it.
Yeah, that's the vibe I get. And he's definitely got the attention of world leaders now, even President Trump.
Oh, wow. President Trump. He's never been shy about his feelings on China and technology.
You can say that again.
So how did he react to DeepSeek?
Initially, a lot of concern, called it a wake-up call for the U.S., got to keep that AI leadership. But then he did something kind of unexpected.
What did he do?
He launched this whole initiative. It's called the Stargate Project.
A Stargate project. Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Well, it's a $500 billion project, and the goal? Solidify U.S. dominance in AI, basically. They've got some big names involved. Oracle, SoftBank, even NVIDIA, ironically.
Wait, hold on. He's responding to a company that built its model for cheap by spending $500 billion.
Yeah, it does seem a little contradictory, right?
A little bit.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if just throwing money at the problem is the right way to go. But before we get into all that, I want to go back to those large-scale malicious attacks DeepSeek's been dealing with. What's that all about?
Oh, yeah, that's another interesting twist to this whole story. DeepSeek, they've become a target, probably because they're so successful and because their technology is so valuable. And get this, they've even had to limit new registrations because so many people want to use it.
So even with all the success, they're facing some real challenges. This is shaping up to be one wild deep dive.
Yeah, it's really incredible, isn't it? Like DeepSeek's become this global thing practically overnight.
Right. It's like they're saying innovation, it's not just for the big guys anymore. But you know what I'm curious about?
What's that?
Their actual approach to AI. We've talked about how they're doing it for less money, but is the technology itself fundamentally different?
Actually, yeah, there are some key differences. One big one is this thing called their R1 reasoning model.
R1 reasoning model.
Ah.
Okay, that sounds pretty techy.
Yeah, it's a bit complex, but basically it generates responses in little chunks, incrementally.
Incrementally, huh? So not all at once.
Right, and it uses way less memory compared to the traditional models. Imagine writing a story sentence by sentence instead of trying to write the whole thing in one go.
Okay, I can kind of picture that.
And this way, DeepSeek can get amazing results even with less powerful hardware.
So they're making the AI think smarter, not just harder.
Exactly, thinking outside the box, for sure.
But with all this talk about cheaper AI, does that mean we're sacrificing quality?
That's the million-dollar question, right? But so far, it seems like the answer is no.
Oh, really?
Yeah, their performance, it's right up there with the expensive models, sometimes even better.
Wow, that's impressive. But that can't be good news for companies like OpenAI, right?
Not really, no. They've built their whole business model on these high-priced models.
Yeah, the best of the best, at a premium price.
Exactly. Now they've got more competition and pressure to lower prices.
It's like the classic disruptor story, right? Someone comes in, does it differently, shakes things up.
Yep, and now the big players have to adapt or they get left behind.
So maybe DeepSeek's success is actually good for consumers, even if they never use their products directly.
That's a good point. Could make the whole industry more competitive, better value for everyone.
Right, like a ripple effect.
Exactly. We might see a whole wave of new AI services, more affordable, more accessible. Who knows what could happen?
Exciting times, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's not just about NVIDIA and those companies, right? What about other industries? Where else could DeepSeek's influence be felt?
Oh, the possibilities are huge. Think about healthcare. Doctors using AI for more accurate diagnoses.
Makes sense. AI could analyze so much data.
Exactly. Or education, personalized learning for every student.
Wow, that would be a game changer for a lot of kids.
Or even the arts. Imagine AI helping artists create completely new kinds of art.
Yeah, those are some pretty mind-blowing possibilities. But there are potential downsides too, right? I mean, aside from the data privacy stuff we talked about.
Yeah, absolutely. One concern is jobs,
Jobs. Oh, right. Like AI taking over jobs that people used to do.
Exactly. As AI gets more capable and cheaper, some jobs might become automated. It's something we need to be aware of, for sure.
No doubt. But hasn't it always been like that?
Yeah.
Every new technology changes the job market.
True. And sometimes new technologies create new jobs, too. It's not just about replacing people. It's about finding ways for humans and AI to work together.
Right. Finding that balance. So it's not all doom and gloom.
Definitely not. It's about being smart, about adapting, and finding the opportunities in this new landscape.
So it's a complex issue. with both challenges and opportunities.
Absolutely.
And it brings us back to that global power dynamic we were talking about, doesn't it?
Oh, for sure. AI is becoming super important strategically.
Like a technological arms race.
Kind of, yeah. It affects everything, the economy, military, even global influence.
And with DeepSeek's success, it feels like China's challenging that U.S. dominance in the tech world.
No question about it. Things are getting very interesting.
So, last we left off, we were talking about this whole U.S.-China competition in AI, right?
Yeah, it's heating up for sure.
And then you have President Trump's response to DeepSeek, this whole Stargate project thing.
Right, exactly. Like $500 billion. That's a huge investment, even for the U.S.
It's interesting, though, right? DeepSeek is all about doing more with less, and Trump's answer is just to spend a ton of money.
It does make you wonder, right? Like, is that really the best way to stay ahead? Just throw money at the problem.
Exactly. What do you think? Is that going to be enough?
Well, some experts are saying the U.S. needs to be smarter about it.
Smarter how?
Like, focus on the things they can really do better than anyone else, you know? Develop better algorithms, build a culture of innovation. Just copying DeepSeek, even with more money, that might not work.
So it's not just about the money. It's about spending it wisely.
Exactly. Investing in the right areas, finding the best people.
Right, right. So back to this Stargate project. Who's actually involved in that?
Oh, it's a whole who's who of the tech world. Oracle, NVIDIA, those guys.
Makes sense. Those are the heavy hitters.
And investment firms, too, like SoftBank. They're trying to create this whole ecosystem, bring everyone together to work on AI.
Sounds pretty ambitious. But do you think it's partly driven by fear? Like, is the U.S. feeling threatened by China's progress in AI?
Hard to say for sure, but it's definitely possible.
Like a wake-up call, right? DeepSeek shows that innovation can come from anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Complacency is not an option in this game.
So in a way, DeepSeek might be pushing everyone forward, even their competitors. Kind of like a rising tide lifts all boats.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I like that analogy. It's like this force that's changing the whole landscape.
For sure. So, wow, we've covered a lot today. DeepSeek's technology, the impact on the industry, the global politics, even what it means for consumers.
Yeah.
It's a lot to take in. What do you think? What's the big takeaway for our listeners?
I think DeepSeek's story shows us that the future of AI, it's not set in stone, you know. It's being shaped right now by the decisions that companies are making, that governments are making, that people are making.
Right, like we all have a role to play.
Exactly. And it reminds us that innovation, it can come from the most unexpected places. It can challenge the status quo, and it can change things in ways we never thought possible.
So it's not just about DeepSeek. It's about being open to new ideas, new possibilities.
Absolutely. And as you keep following AI, think about this. If DeepSeek, a company no one even knew about a year ago, can make this much impact, what else is out there? What other assumptions are we taking for granted that could be turned upside down?
Those are great questions to think about. Thanks for joining us today. This DeepSeek Deep Dive has been quite a ride. And we'll be back soon with more deep dives into the world of AI and all the things that are changing our world.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah,
Oh,
Like it like that.
yeah, yeah.
Hey, yo, listen.
What you want?
drop it low to the flow. Oh, oh,
Like it like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
oh. Are you ready for this?